Recently, the Alberta provincial government also switched to a point-based immigration system. Many are concerned that it has become too difficult. So today, I will explain in detail about the changes to Aos and Ths. I will also discuss strategies and measures to receive an invitation. First, to apply for the program, you need to meet some basic eligibility requirements. There are no changes in this part. The program itself hasn't changed, only the processing method has. Title: Eligibility Requirements for Aos and Ths. To apply for Aos, you must be working in the same occupation as your recent experience, with a valid work permit in Alberta. You must be currently employed. You need to receive a job offer of at least 1 year from an eligible employer. The advantage of Aos is that you can apply for most skilled and unskilled occupations. Instead of specifying eligible occupations, they designate ineligible ones. There aren't many ineligible occupations. Even positions like cashier, which we might think are hard for permanent residency, can apply through Aos. The employer offering a permanent residency job offer must have been operating for at least 2 years. They should have sales exceeding $400,000 and 3 or more full-time employees. If they meet these conditions, they can offer permanent residency job offers to multiple people simultaneously. Even if they don't meet the sales and employee number conditions, after operating for more than 2 years, they can still support 1 person per year. In the Aos program, the work permit is principally based on LMIA. However, working holiday visas, intercompany transferee visas, and post-graduation work permits for Alberta graduates can exceptionally apply without LMIA. You cannot apply with a spousal open work permit. The work experience requirement is to have at least 1 year of experience in Alberta within the last 18 months, in the same occupation as the job offer at the time of application or review. Alternatively, you can have at least 2 years of experience within the last 30 months in other provinces in Canada or outside Canada. The work experience should not have a gap exceeding 6 months. If you graduate from a university in Alberta, you can apply for permanent residency after just 6 months instead of 1 year of Alberta experience. Even for Alberta university graduates, if you couldn't find employment related to your major, you still need to accumulate 1 year of experience and require a work permit based on LMIA. Please note this. Language proficiency requires submitting English or French test scores. According to CLB standards, skilled occupations require level 5, and unskilled occupations require level 4. Education requires at least a high school diploma. Next are the THS eligibility requirements. The THS program is a new program implemented from March 1, 2024. It was created from the Alberta government's strong will to double the tourism industry. Most other provinces also run programs similar to THS, but unlike them, which allow only a few unskilled positions, THS includes both skilled and unskilled occupations. It targets most occupations in the related industry, which is its characteristic. The eligibility requirements for THS are simpler. First, you need to receive a full-time job offer from an eligible employer in Alberta and accumulate at least 6 months of experience at that workplace. The employer's eligibility conditions are the same as in the Aos program. When applying for permanent residency, you must possess an LMIA-based work permit from the employer who provided the full-time job offer. Other work permits are not accepted. Education requires at least a high school diploma. Language proficiency requires only CLB level 4. Interestingly, the English requirement for all occupations, including skilled ones, is very low at CLB level 4. Title: Point-based system. Recently, the Alberta government decided to introduce a point-based system to most of its programs. Even if you meet the minimum eligibility requirements, you cannot apply for permanent residency immediately. First, you register your profile in the pool, and after receiving an invitation, you can apply for permanent residency. Both Aos and THS programs calculate scores through the EOI system, and applicants with higher scores receive invitations first. Let's look at the important factors in the point-based system. The scoring consists of a total of 100 points, with items including education, experience, English, age, Alberta relatives, certifications, and job offers. The total points for education are 22. If you have studied in Canada, you can receive additional points. If you graduate from a specialized course in Alberta, you can receive up to 10 points. The regulations regarding this part were unclear, but with the first invitation in October, the outline became clear. So if you graduated from a university in another country and completed a 2-year diploma in Alberta, you won't receive bonus points since your highest education is a bachelor's degree from abroad. This suggests that Canada no longer wants to give merit to those who study for reasons other than the purpose of education itself. Their determination seems firm. For those who, at an older age, study in Canada at a level lower than their existing education, the benefits for graduates seem to have almost disappeared. Also, there is a tendency to prefer degrees related to trades. Occupations like chefs, bakers, welders, construction-related jobs, hairdressers, and others in certain trades receive special consideration. If you have obtained a degree or certificate in these fields, you receive 7 points, the same as a bachelor's degree, despite the short study period. These occupations are often in-demand jobs. For new immigrants, language barriers are less significant, making employment easier. So the benefits seem to be improving. The English score is out of 10 points. The difference between CLB levels 4 and 6 is 5 points, which is less than expected. If you have French proficiency, you can receive up to 13 points. Work experience points are out of 21, which is significant. An additional 10 points are awarded if you have worked in Alberta for more than 6 months. If you work for 1 year, you receive the maximum 21 points. Most people can get full points here, so it's not very discriminative. Age points are only 5 in total. The maximum score difference by age is 2 points, making it an insignificant factor. In Alberta, age doesn't have significant meaning. If you have relatives in Alberta, you can receive an 8-point bonus, which is very advantageous. In fact, the most discriminative item is the job offer section. Up to 21 points are awarded here. If you receive a recommendation from an RRS community or have a job offer in the THS occupation, there are additional points. Also, except for Greater Calgary and Greater Edmonton, an additional 5 points are awarded for all other regions. Additionally, if you possess a certificate relevant to the job offer or have met all qualifications required to apply for the certificate, you receive an extra 10 points. The certificate must be an Alberta certificate, including both trades and professional occupations. Title: Reasons for introducing the EOI point-based system. The Canadian government is changing the permanent residency program from first-come first-served to a point-based system for 2 main reasons. First, to select qualified applicants. Second, to choose applicants who meet specific conditions desired by the government, and to prevent application backlogs by controlling the volume from the beginning. In my view, Alberta adopted the point-based system mainly for the second reason. Unlike Ontario or British Columbia, the imbalance between the number of applicants and annual quotas in Alberta is not so large. So the aspect of wanting to select only the most capable doesn't seem significant. Looking at Alberta's point-based system, the provincial government doesn't seem intent on picking only highly qualified people. They appear to create differentiation through additional points in certain categories. In contrast, systems like Express Entry, Ontario, and BC's point systems subdivide personal abilities to select even slightly more capable people, with a clear intention. Alberta, on the other hand, gives additional points to those who meet specific conditions the government wants, selecting them preferentially to control the number of applications to be reviewed. Preferred factors include studying in Alberta, having relatives in the province, receiving additional points based on occupation, and holding relevant certifications. You can also gain extra points by avoiding major cities. For additional points for Canadian education, your highest education must be obtained in Canada. Therefore, many people don't receive additional points even if they studied in Canada. Since only a few receive points for relatives or certifications, ultimately, the additional points for THS occupations and whether you receive extra points for regions seem to be the key differentiating factors. Title: First Invitations and Future Outlook. The first THS invitations were issued on October 15th, and as expected, the invitation score was 70, which may feel too high for most people. You might wonder how the invitation scores will change in the future, but they are expected to fluctuate greatly depending on timing and the number of applicants. Since the program was halted for quite some time, there are currently many more applicants than usual, so initially, scores are naturally quite high. For a while, those who have received additional points in several categories will receive invitations first. After at least 6 months, those with scores in the 50s are expected to receive invitations. If work permits continue to be this difficult, in about a year, Even those who only meet the minimum requirements may receive invitations. Some worry that Alberta might become a place where it's really hard to get permanent residency, like Ontario and BC. However, the principle of the point-based system is simple. It's similar to supply and demand principles like university admissions. Depending on the relationship between annual quotas and the number of applicants, scores will rise and fall. Looking at Alberta's point-based system, it seems the provincial government is not intending to select only highly qualified people. The difference from before is that there's an additional step of needing to receive an invitation, so the processing time for permanent residency may become a bit longer. However, since the number of applications is well controlled, the processing time at the provincial review stage becomes shorter, and the system will operate more smoothly. In conclusion, receiving an invitation in Alberta is less about improving your abilities and more about timing and the difference between waiting a little longer or less. Don't worry too much. If you wait, a good opportunity will surely come.